Hey guys, how's it going? It's me again. It's been kind of a while since I've done a book review, but I was searching through YouTube the other day trying to find other reviews of this particular book that I'm about to review, and there's not very many out there. And I felt that was a grave disservice to a really good book trilogy that I think a lot of people will enjoy. At first it looks a little bit difficult, but it's really not. The book I'm going to be reviewing, this is going to be part one of a two-part book review. And the reason for that is because I'm going to be reviewing Anne Bishop's Black Jewels, there it is, yeah. Anne Bishop's Black Jewels Trilogy. The Black Jewels Trilogy. The first book of the series was Daughter of the Blood. And then there was The Heir to the Shadows. And then, of course, the last one, Queen of the Darkness. But they were released individually back in like 1998 to 2000. But now it's in this really awesome collector's deal here. And but like I said, basically, it's set up in a world that takes places in several different places. That first there is Tyrell. Now forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it. There's Tyrell, there's Kalar, and there's also Hell. Those are those three main places, and obviously there's like Little Tyrell, which is a little small miniature capital, but within these realms, these three main realms, okay, there's all sorts of little towns that's been made up of queens, and this book is set up to where basically there's a queen that is very, very powerful with this dark magic, and the guys are to be protectors, and the reason why it's called the Black Jewels is because of, depending upon what color jewel a person is how strong they are in the craft. And of course you have Landins, which are obviously just normal people that don't have any magic ability, and they're not really focused on that much. And instead of ascending, it's a descending order. So for instance, if somebody had a birthright jewel, which means that they were, like say if they go all the way from white, which is the least powerful, yellow, tiger eye, rose, summer sky, purple dusk, opal, green, sapphire, red, gray, ebon gray, and then of course the last one being black, which is the most powerful. And opal is the dividing line between the lighter and the darker jewels. But like you said, it starts with white, okay, and then it goes all the way down. It descends instead of ascends to the black. And the black, of course, being the most powerful. But there's also a very interesting, it's not just about the jewels and what you wear, but there's a very, depending upon whether you're in Tyrell or in Kalar, there's a social structure as well that you have to abide by in whatever court that you're serving in, and different things like this. And you'll get into that, as the first book really does a good job about that. And it can seem a little confusing at times, but the second book, I feel, in the series, The Heir to the Shadows, really picks up. And just to show you that this realm, there's a lady by the name of Dorothea, and she's working with she's secretly working with a lady by the name of Hakata, who is a member of the Demon Dead, which we learn to find out the Demon Dead are people that have died but have not passed on and gone back to the darkness. But they're still around, living in hell and other places. So Hakata is the Demon Dead, and she has to feast on obviously blood in order to keep her sustenance, and they're kind of working to take control of all these different things. Well, Dorothea has systematically, either by having the witches raped or whatever, breaking them before they reach their full potential, so that she is the most powerful queen in her particular city of Hyel, which is in the realm of Terrell. And so the thing, and it sits out, but what she's done is, over time, a lot of these, the witches and the queen that would become queens, and even the warlord princes, which there you go, that caste system, have become so weak because they've either been killed or they've been, broken before their time. Okay, now the series starts out with a lady by the name of Tersa, who is a Black Widow. And now the Black Widows have a particular sort of ability. Not only are they, yes, they're witches and they do the craft, but Tersa has the ability of being a Black Widow, which means that she can web dreams and visions, and she can weave them. Well, she starts out by a prophecy that drops people's jaws at this big social event to start the first book. And she says, boom, the witch will become, the dreams will be made flesh, meaning that there will be somebody that's going to come up, and then all of a sudden, she's not just a witch, she is witch, which is basically the personification of what's going to happen. Not just a real strong witch, but like witch. One word. Dreams made flesh, which is when we later learn on that there's kindred that was associated with this, and the kindred are like the animals that also have these now there's land and animals, which, like the humans, are just everyday people, but then there's the animals that can have magic abilities, and of course the females are the queens and the males are the warlord. Now the structure and caste system, now I've told you about the jewels, which is levels of power, but there's a very distinct caste system here. Now obviously at the top of it would be the queen of that particular city, and then of course the queen of the territory is over all of them. It's very structured. But the caste system that you need to know, and the equivalency of it is like you have your queen. Okay, now over here on her is you have the warlord prince, which is the equivalent, and he's either a consort sometimes, or he's almost just a step below the power of a queen. Okay, and then of course you have the warlord, and then of course your blood males, and then the Landons. So for the guys, there you go. I mean, you have the top of the line is a warlord prince, and he's the equivalent of, he's just about powerful than any other as far as males go. And then of course whatever color jewel he wears. Now what they do usually is they can make an offering to the dark, and like say you can go up at least 3 spots. So say if your birthright jewel that you were born with was red, and you make an offering to the dark, you can move up 3 spots. As far as your, but anyways, you have your warlord princes, okay, and then you have your regular warlords, all right, and then you just have your regular just blood males that's, not got any special abilities, but they're of the blood, okay, and but then the main thing is on the female side is at the top of the line. It is the queen. She rules the deal. And then, of course, you have right under her, as far as being powerful, is the Black Weavers. The Black Widows, which are, like I told you, the ones that can weave dreams and also weave healing things and can see the future and different things, And then, of course, you have your priestess, which is the equivalent of your warlords, and then you have your healers, and then of course your regular you know, your regular blood females. Okay, and then of course you have your landing females, which don't have any magical ability. Okay, so we have queen, black widows, priestesses, and each jurisdiction will have a high priestess or whatever. And then of course you have just regular witches, and then of course the landing females, and you have your healers that specialize in healers, different things. Okay, and then the black widows are part of an hourglass coven. Once again, you've got all these hierarchies and all these things going on, which is really good. Which is why I was surprised that I don't see a lot more of it on here, on the YouTube. But anyways, now getting back into the story, you have Satan, who is the High Lord of Hell. He is a demon dead, which he's about 50,000 years old, and him and Hecata have some past history because they were husband and wife. Okay, and then you have his former wife, Cassandra, who was also a big, huge witch of the day. Okay, and so they discover a prophecy, like I said, witch made flesh, a young girl with curly hair by the name of Janelle. Okay, she's got these interesting powers, to say the least, and she's been kept at a place where Alexandra is the queen, and these people that have been pushing her off to a place called Briarwood, and nobody really knows what that is, and we later find out what's going down in Briarwood, and what happens and what they've been doing, and as the deal goes on, you would think, you hear the name Satan, obviously you think, uh-oh. Well, in this book, the character Satan, which is not spelled like we would think, it's spelled a little bit differently, he turns out to be a grandfatherly figure, and he wants to not only help Janelle learn, which she can do some amazing things, but when it comes to basic craft, she doesn't know what to do. And he tries to teach her or serve her, which is a recurring theme. And then he's got Andovar, which was his son, who's also demon dead. And then, you know, you see these whole new cast of characters. And Satan is also the High Lord of Domlin, which is a territory in Kalar. And you see that this young girl has the ability to do things that's just not even been thought of. And so he wants to get her and shelter her and protect her from Hecata and her schemes and Dorothea before she's destroyed and all their dreams are tarnished. And then obviously in the first book, you hear of Damon, Sa Diablo, who is they call him the saddest, and you'll find out why that is. And he's been kept as a pleasure slave because Satan did not claim him as his son, so he was raised as a bastard. You will also be introduced to Lucifer. He is an Aryan, which is an amazing warlike race that he is also captured in the land of Prul and the salt mines, and he is a slave there too. Once again, his mother, you know, for whatever reason, she kept Satan away and wouldn't allow him to claim ownership, which he wanted to in the registers. So once again, Lucifer was also raised bastard, and as they would say, out of wedlock. So he wasn't claimed, so therefore he was a pleasure slave, which is, you're going to like that. I think you're going to like the Aryans too. But this basically, part one of my review for the Black Jewels trilogy was I wanted to get that caste system out there, and Janelle and Angeline, and I wanted to get those basic concepts going. And in part two, I'll get into the actual story that I think a lot of people would really like to go and read. I think you should pick it up. Be right back.